Well, it's another beautiful day here in Denton, Texas, but it's always beautiful right here inside the Sports Zone studios, and it's even more beautiful after a 2-week break. That's right, we are back. We have an absolutely loaded show for you guys today, so let's not waste any time. Let's get started. Joining me right here at the desk. You okay? You had a good 2 weeks off?
I did. You know what? I held my own show in my apartment last week since we weren't here.
All right. Josh Skinner here holding it down. And a special surprise guest, Nick Laupius. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's weird to be back after about a year off.
Yeah, well, you know who else is back after just a couple days off? The North Texas women's basketball team. That's right, they made history this past week, winning their first postseason tournament game in program history. It was a 56-42 victory over UT Rio Grande Valley. Now, guys, how big of a deal is this for the women's program?
In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's that big, but maybe especially for Coach Mitchell and for these girls, it's a big deal because, one, this has never been done before. So you kind of get to say that as you go on throughout life as an alumnus. But at the same time, with something like this, you got to win in order for it to be a big deal. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's nice. There were, I think, 22 points scored from the bench in that game against UT Rio Grande Valley. So you get more reps, you get more practices, obviously. But there was a lot of players on this team that at the end of the conference tournament, when they were out in the second round, they lost to the eventual champion Rice Owls. A lot of them didn't want to keep playing. They were kind of upset that they got into the WBI, but when we saw them against Rio Grande Valley last Wednesday, they looked really good, and a big player, number 42, Anisha George, was phenomenal, using her size on both sides of the basket and doing a good job of getting a lot of rebounds and second chance opportunities.
Yeah. I was going to say she had to be. Her 19 points because she had to fill in because Terriel Bradley did not have the best of games. Maybe her worst game of the season.
Well, Nick talked about 22 bench points. They had 12 second chance points. For this team, we saw the men's team last year. They won the CBI. Obviously, this team still has a couple more games to go before they can claim that they've won this. But do you think it's an actual momentum boost for next year? Because we saw the men's team have a great start to the season. Obviously, it didn't end the way they wanted to. But do you think it has anything to do with going into next year?
Not yet. If they win the whole tournament, absolutely. But if they bow out tonight against Utah State, then no, it's just an extra game or two.
And they have a tough challenge coming up. Utah State was a very good team, one of the top in the nation when it came to defense. So that's going to be hard for this North Texas team because they've struggled kind of getting off to a good start on the offensive side. They were only up by, I think, 4 points going into the second half, and then that's when they started to kind of get their rhythm on the offense. So they got to get off to a much better start on the offensive side against a very good defensive team.
You mentioned George coming at 19 points. If she can do that again tonight. You mentioned the Utah State game. Let's go ahead and preview that tonight at the Super Pit, 7 p.m. Now they're giving away 300 free hot dogs if you show up first.
I'll be there.
I cleared my schedule. I'm going there tonight. What type of a shot do you give us versus the Aggies of Utah State?
At this point, I mean, these are teams that did not make the big dance. So at this point, I mean, every game to me is 50-50. But I might even tilt it a little further towards North Texas because it's being played at the Super Pit.
So, I don't know. We'll see. The game last Wednesday, there was maybe 100 people in the stands. So hopefully the fans show out.
That's 3 hot dogs a person.
Exactly. That's perfect. So I think we're doing pretty good if we go out there. But I do think playing at home is a little bit of a momentum for North Texas, and especially with how some of those bench players played, you got that secondary scoring. I think it might be a good opportunity, especially if Anisha George continues her dominant play that she did last week. I think they'll be in a very good shot.
Do we get the dub tonight?
I think they do.
I'll say yes as well.
How many hot dogs are you going to eat if you go to the game?
I'll probably eat at least 4 hot dogs.
I'll eat as many as they let me eat before they run out.
We'll see. They play tonight, 7 p.m. out at the Super Pitch. Should be a good matchup. Really quickly before we go to break, are you guys a fan of these tournaments? Kind of the lower. They're not the NCAA tournament. I had to Wikipedia search this tournament. You know, the NCAA for men's has it as well. The NIT, the CBI, the men's has several. Are you a fan of these types of tournaments?
I'm going to say yes because I mean, kind of a momentum. If you win it, it's building into next season. Plus, some people, it's just for the joy of playing the game. Your career's not over. You get to play a few more games in your season, a few more games in your career. I can see why some people wouldn't like it, but personally, I am a fan of these kind of things, yes.
I think it's nice. Jalen Mitchell, obviously, after they lost in the conference tournament, said, well, last year the department paid for the men's team to get in, and they better do it now. And like you said, it's extra games, extra reps, and you get some of these younger players just some more experience in these types of games. That can be a building block toward the future.
Hopefully a transition into next year, we hope the men's team has a good transition to next year. How's your guys' bracket doing for the basketball tournament?
I'm somewhere in the middle, 50%. I'm doing better than Jay Billis, though.
There we go. Terrible. I have Duke winning it all, and after that last game, I'm not feeling too confident.
I have Michigan State in my bracket.
In your bracket? Well, I got Duke, so I'm glad they held on. If you're like Nick Laupius, and if March Madness has been more like March Sadness for you, don't worry, we've got picks coming up for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games to help you out with your bracket. We'll help Nick out. He's going to be paying attention. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it.
You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Oh, emojis. I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you. She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze. Help up the hand. Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing it, Zane!
How's your hair? Is it pretty?
Daddy,
It's pretty.
maybe honestly,
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Well, after a chalky first weekend of the NCAA tournament that saw every single number 1 through number 3 seed advance, has set up a juggernaut of games this weekend. Here to preview every single Sweet 16 and Elite 8 matchup is Brant Hermesmeyer and Van Malone. Guys?
Thank you, Josh. I mean, this is shaping up to be a really, really, really great tournament. And I love it. I'm loving it. I love all the basketball. I love all these future NBA prospects coming up. I love all the seniors coming up. Everybody trying to prove themselves, vying for position in the championship. So just like Josh said, we have some picks. So, Brian, why don't you give us yours?
So to win the whole thing, I have the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and it's not because I'm from Texas. It isn't. I'm not even a Texas Tech fan. But the Texas Tech Red Raiders have the 3rd best defense in the country, and I'm a firm believer in defense wins championships. They have one of the best young coaches in the country in Chris Beard. He's come onto the scene the past 3 years at Texas Tech. He came from some smaller schools like McMurray and Hardin-Simmons and Abilene. He's always been a West Texas type of guy. But he sent the team to their first Elite 8 appearance in school history last year. He won the first conference's Big 12 tournament in school history last year. And so he's just slowly, steadily climbing the ranks. And I think after going to the Elite 8 last year, he gets his team to the Final Four and even finds a way to knock off Duke this year.
That's a hot take. That's bold. I trust Texas Tech as well. I really, really like what they're doing. I agree with you. Defense wins championships. You got to have defense. But, you know, for me, I like Texas Tech. But for me, I have them losing to Duke, you see, and I have UNC as my champion. I love Duke. I like Jeffrey like everybody else, but they have one issue. They can't shoot the ball. They can't shoot the ball consistently. During this tournament, they're great. They're great shooting the ball. Cam Reddish is finding his shot. Trey Jones, a little bit iffy in that game against UCF, but it's getting there. His mid-range is deadly. But what I see with UNC is, yes, Duke may be the most talented team, but I see UNC the team with the fewest mistakes. Like they have the fewest mishaps. They really don't beat themselves. You know, Roy Williams likes to run and gun, likes to push the tempo, uses Kobe White, kind of like his a John Wall type of player. He gets the ball. You look at him. He immediately pushing the ball up the floor, looking up, seeing who's down there. And like you, I got a lot of backlash for this, having Texas Tech in the Final Four, and as well as having Tennessee in the Final Four. Those two teams are I feel like if any was going to beat Duke or UNC, I honestly think it could be one of those two teams.
I agree with you, and I do see you having Tech in the Final Four there. I agree with that. That's a great Duke team that they're going to play there in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the Tech going to the final to play UNC, and I totally agree with you. North Carolina, I mean, it's never easy to win a tournament, but that's an easy pick to have with Roy Williams. They have some veteran players and a great point guard in Kobe White.
Oh, yeah.
And I agree with you on Duke. Just a quick stat here. Duke has shot the ball 30.2% from the three-point line, which ranks 339 out of 353 teams in Division I basketball. I think Stephen A. Smith said it great on First Take the other day. UCF provided a blueprint to knock off the Blue Devils. Make them shoot from the perimeter, and you have a chance against a Zion Williamson-led team.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's been like that all year, though. That's what I was thinking. It's like, okay, all year we knew Duke can't really shoot that well. Zion and Cam Reddish arguably could be their best shooters right now in this tournament, but nobody's been able to do it. Now, could that be because he's just too talented, or maybe no one's really done it the right way? I mean, I think UCF might have been a little bit of an anomaly because Taco Fall is literally like 9 feet tall, and I'm pretty sure he's got some cloud dust on the top of his head. So that might have been an anomaly, but we'll see. But these are some great coaches in this tournament, especially here in this bracket we have right now. It's going to be interesting to see how they can even morph it to maybe even make. Because you notice there are some times where Trey Jones literally put Taco Fall on Trey Jones. Taco Fall would sit under the rim and allow Trey Jones to basically walk around a three-point line. And that worked. It clearly worked. But in order for Duke to win this tournament, I think they're, one, going to have to shoot. They're going to have to shoot the ball. And second, they're going to have to basically get lucky that somebody messes up defensively, because if they can shoot, then nobody's going to stop them. They're going to cakewalk to the finals.
And like I have Texas Tech winning the whole thing, I think they can limit. Chris Beard's such a good coach. I think they can limit the Duke Blue Devils. I think they make them shoot from the perimeter. They have great players, and Jared Kovler, who's a round 1 NBA draft pick the next year.
He's a stud.
Tech is just so fundamentally sound, in my opinion, and they have experience. They were there last year in the Elite Eight. Jared Culver was there last year. Matt Moretti was there last year. David Mooney, or Matt Mooney and David Moretti were there last year. So this Texas Tech team has experience, and I think they have a good shot to win the whole thing.
Yeah, that experience is really important, especially with college basketball. You see all these one-and-done guys. Some people forget the guys such as Buddy Hield, remember, senior. He's been there. So we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. I'm loving it. I'm loving the basketball. I'm loving the competition. And, well, back to you, Josh.
Well, thanks, guys. I just want to point out something your national champions have in common. They both already lost to Duke whenever Zion's healthy this year. Just want to say that Duke's winning it all. I may or may not have it in my bracket. Coming up next, though, Randall Cobb to the Dallas Cowboys will tell you what the signing means for America's team. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak, and I appreciated it very much, the attention that was given. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Well, in an NFL offseason filled with exciting moves like Antonio Brown to the Raiders, Odell Beckham to the Browns, and Le'Veon Bell signing with the New York Jets, there may have been one free agent headline that you might have missed if you didn't scroll all the way down the page. Now, that's right. Randall Cobb signed a one-year, $5 million contract with yours truly, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's welcome in Saji Adam and Jack Buckmeyer. Guys, let's start with you, Saji. I know there was a little fight. Who wanted to go first? We're going to go with you. How much of an impact does it make for the Cowboys?
I actually think it's actually a really good signing. I know it's only a one-year deal, kind of like what Boogie did with the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, he's not good as
Boogie.
As Boogie, not even close. But I think he's better than Cole Beasley. I know losing Cole Beasley was a huge deal for the Cowboys and Cowboy Nation because they felt they lost a huge part of the piece. But you could honestly tell that he was not a big fan of the Cowboys because on Twitter he said, I didn't win with them, even though he went to playoffs multiple times. I think he's a really good slot receiver. He helped out Aaron Rodgers a lot. I mean, in his season with the Packers, with 8 seasons, almost 5,000 receiving yards, 42 touchdowns. He played really good. So with Dak, with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, who's still developing into a stud, Terrence Williams, he can still catch something here and there. Once in a blue moon, he catches a 50-yard touchdown pass. I think they have a solid receiver core. It's becoming one of the more elite receiver cores. The only thing I'm kind of iffy on is their O-line. I'm still not high on them because of, Connor Williams being undersized.
Well, I do believe it was a pretty good signing. I mean, we definitely needed a slot receiver. Cole Beasley left, but, I mean, if this was 2014, I'd be jumping out of my seat. I'd be screaming, but, unfortunately, Randall Cobb can't seem to stay on the football field. He only played 6 or 7 games last year. Hopefully, I mean, if he came this year with Aaron Rodgers, that'd be even better, but, Dak Prescott, he's not I'm not going to say the best of throwers in the NFL, so hopefully
he's a good QB.
Yeah, I mean he's a great QB. I mean he's not top 5, but he's definitely in the conversation.
Best QB in the NFC East?
I'd have to duke you out for that one, but honestly he's up there. But we'll see what happens. I don't know what Kellen Moore, I don't know what his offense is going to look like. If it's like his offense at Boise State, then this might be a match made in heaven. But, if he goes more to the Scott Linehan route, more run offense, then, I could see similar production to what Cole Beasley did this year or last year.
So how does a signing like Randall Cobb, does it even boost this team? It kind of seems like it is just maybe another Cole Beasley kind of sliding in. Does it make this team any better than they were last year?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's more athletic than Cole Beasley. I don't think he's as quick. I think he's faster, but not agility-wise in terms of route running because of, like you said, injuries. But Cole Beasley also has been dealing with nagging injuries. I mean, almost every Cowboy has been dealing with injuries. I think it all depends on Kellen Moore. On paper, this is a very talented Cowboys team that is supposed to go deep in the playoffs. Even though the head coach is not elite, not even close to being elite, I mean, in terms of clapping, yes. But the players believe in what he says. They really like what he says. They believe him as a leader, and that's fine. If they're fine with it, then we're fine with it. It all depends on if Kellen Moore can help this offense. Dak seems really high on Kellen Moore. If it all works out for Dak, if Dak becomes an even more elite QB than he already is, I think he is elite, not like top 5, obviously, but I think he still gets the job done, most wins since 2016. It all depends on Kellen Moore, but I think they'll be a good team this year.
Where do you see him putting them?
I mean, if Dak can get the ball to Randall Cobb, that's great. We've always, Washington's taken a step back. New York, praise God, they traded Odell. That's their only saving grace. It's going to be great when Saquon's scoring touchdowns and they're down by 35. But other than that, I mean, if Dak can get the ball to him, as you said, if Kellen Moore can continue to get this offense moving, the sky's the limit for the Cowboys.
Are you guys mad? I know there was a lot of Cowboys fans that kind of gave the team flack for not signing in Earl Thomas, not making one of these big deal contract signings. Are you okay with them not spending money and kind of playing a little more conservative?
They've been having a really silent free agency, but the people who they have signed, they look like they will fit perfectly. The Cowboys have been signing young defensive players that you'd never heard of that actually work for this team. I think they've been signing really good corners, a good safety here and there. I mean, we didn't see really Cheeto becoming the elite cornerback he is, and all of a sudden he's a really good corner. We thought Byron was going to be a huge bust as a safety, but he turned out to be one of the best corners in the league. I mean, Xavier Woods is turning out to be a great safety. Jeff Heath can still here and there pop a really good hit. This is a young, hungry defensive team that will get the job done when it needs to.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Jeff Heath's a pretty good kicker as well. I mean, maybe
he made one.
Maybe if what's the Brett Maher can keep sucking, maybe
barely
he'll come in
barely Brett Maher.
You know, we have been signing some pretty good backups. You know, Antoine Woods, we signed him last year. He turned out to be a diamond in the rough. So we're signing depth because, you know, we have Byron Jones coming up, DeMarcus Lawrence is still coming up. Then you got Dak, you got Zeke, you got Amari Cooper. So we didn't have a lot of money to spend on those free agents, but, you know, scraping the bottom of the barrel to get those young, still developing defensive players, you know, that's good for the team. That's what we needed to continue to progress.
You talk about the NFL draft. The NFL draft's just under 1 month away. I'll tell you who's looking forward to draft season. Dallas basketball fans, they're pretty excited for the NBA draft. Get Zion in Dallas, Zion, Kristaps, Luka, wouldn't be too bad. But they're also getting pretty excited about Dirk right now. Another major milestone for the dunking Deutschman. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
It's fine that other people like you. It's more important that you like yourself. And I'm comfortable with every part of me. Meals on Wheel coming to my door as someone who's housebound assures me that I'm not forgotten. They care that I'm okay. My name is Asha Ida Bell. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Well, last Tuesday night, Dirk Nowitzki passed Wilt Chamberlain to become the NBA's sixth all-time leading scorer. Joining me at the desk to discuss the Germinators' latest accomplishment is Blake Elliott. And Saji Adam, you're back up here. I guess you just decided to hang around.
I couldn't leave. I had to talk about my man.
All right, well, let's talk about Dirk's sixth all-time on the NBA scoring list, passing Wilt. What does this accomplishment say about his career?
I think this definitely puts a staple in it, as a lot of people, try to hold him back that he's not one of the greatest, and I kind of think this lets people be relevant again. So just to name off some things that sometimes he gets forgotten about. Still a 12-time All-NBA, 14-time All-Star, first European player to ever win MVP, the only Maverick MVP, our one diamond right there, and I think he really needs some more credit.
I mean, he's had a very amazing career. I mean, It's not over yet. I mean, still giving him standing ovations, even though the look on his face is like,
come back.
He could come back. I mean, I want him to come back, especially
should.
the Mavs look like a poised to take off for the playoffs, especially with the Porzingis signing. They'll be a team to deal
And
with.
a top 5 pick.
Yeah, but he's an amazing player. One of the greatest players I've ever seen. One of my favorite players. That 2012 run they had for the NBA, excuse me, 2011 run, the 2011 run they had in the NBA championship. One of his greatest performances of all time. You could watch that nonstop and just show. I mean, when you think of loyalty, the definition of loyalty, you have to think of Dirk Nowitzki. He is just one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet, one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet. He loves seeing his fans. And on the court, just an absolute beast, one of the most unstoppable shots next to the skyhook, that fadeaway. It's called the Dirk fadeaway. Everybody's been trying it. LeBron, Kobe, they all respect him so much. He's a great player.
So you talked about the 2011 finals run. Is there something else that stands out about his career that's been a favorite moment? Or is something in that run?
That 2011 run was really because I was old enough to watch it, so I watched that. Just all the doubt that was given that season. They won a bunch of games that season, but Dirk that season actually got hurt and sat out 9 games. Caron Butler, who was their second leading scorer at the time, out for the season. So it was kind of looking like it was going to happen again in 2007. We're going to be a top seed and get beat in the first or second round because we haven't had the greatest playoff luck. But then we get there and we play Brandon Roy and the Trailblazers, and they get a couple games on us, and somehow we just rally the troops, have a great comeback, and storm back. And then you're playing the reigning champion Lakers, and you just sweep them. One of the greatest shooting performances from Jason Terry and Peja, and it was just something.
They put up the 3-point record too in Game 4.
What did they only miss, like 1 or 2 threes that whole
About
game?
that. Jason Terry hit like 8 straight.
Absolutely amazing. Jason Terry, nasty. And then they play a young Thunder team, KD, Harden, Russell, right there about to reach their prime, and they just absolutely demolish them, and Dirk shows them what's up, and then we all know what happened in the finals. LeBron does his thing and choked, and Dirk was great.
Just throwing out LeBron here, running him under the mud.
Had to.
Do you think Dirk, I mean, people just kind of assume he's retiring. Do you think he's actually going after this year?
I actually don't know. I felt like he didn't want to, but then once Doc Rivers and LA was like, everybody get on your feet for this man, like get up, and then he was just looking like, oh man, I think
it's kind of like they're trying to send him.
It's
out.
honestly
like, hey, man,
I don't know
leave.
why they're trying to force him to retire. It's not like he did anything, unless he has kind of like a Michael Jordan conspiracy theory where he's had like a gambling problem or something. But no, I don't know why they're trying to force him out. I mean, KD talked about it. He said has he announced his retirement? I know Dirk's a really humble guy. I mean, same thing as Tim Duncan, 2 of the most humble players you'll ever meet. Not once to really want to take the spotlight. They take pay cuts for the team. I want him to try and have another chance for playoffs. He's still a great player. He's like on a streak of hitting like 20 points a game right now. He's just not missing. I don't know if it's like that D Wade thing where you just feel like, man, I'm just living life, no stress. But he can still play. He can still help out the bench with Porzingis, help Porzingis develop his game, especially with Luka.
What do you think? Do you think Dirk's coming back?
I hope he does. He's an amazing player, and the guys seem to like him. They play well with him. You see Luka wants to get the ball to him. He's still a great shooter. He's just on defense, he's kind of a liability, but he always has been kind of a liability on defense. But now it's just a little more evident. But I think he should definitely come back to the team. They seem to rally their troops around him.
So is he the best international player to come to the NBA?
Yes.
You think yes?
Yes. And Manu Ginobili is not even top 3.
Not even top. He won Olympic gold for Argentina.
Not even top 3.
Beat the U.S.
He did beat the U.S.
I think Manu is a very underrated player. He probably considered one of the greatest
Ginobili.
Spurs of all time. He's one of the greatest Spurs.
God.
He's one of the greatest Spurs of all time. But I think Dirk, what he has done for that franchise, what he has done with so little, and that 2011 performance.
Manu Ginobili has always had great structure around him. There's nothing against him. That's just how it is. He's had Pop. He's had Tim, Tony. Great players. Dirk single-handedly, only all-star, took them through that rigorous run and won them a championship all by himself.
I mean, Jason Terry acted like an MVP that
He
year
did.
as well.
He
But
did.
he was absolutely the carrying force. I think he won everybody's hearts when he had that, 108 fever, and he still won the game with the game winner.
Yep.
I think he's the best European of all time, but Ginobili, what he did internationally, winning a gold medal, that was spectacular.
I think D Wade and LeBron will never make fun of a superstar for being fake
sick.
Because they know how that turned out.
Yeah, we know what happened in 2014 with the Spurs and they had the cramp.
They were making fun of me before the show for I sneezed, and you guys are like, he's not going to come.
Well, that's what you said. You said, oh, like
I'm
Siggate. You're like, oh, Siggate. Let's see if.
So is Dirk coming back?
Yes.
I want him to. I want him to.
You think? Kind of it'd be good to mentor Porzingis more. I'm sure he's already.
He'll make
Porzingis
a way better player.
Yeah. So you can already see, like in the little practice films we see, he's just making him an amazing player.
We'll find out. Definitely going to be an exciting season for the Mavs. They're trying to get Zion. As a Spurs fan, please don't get down. That's it for us, though, right here on the TV side. Thanks for joining us on ntTV. To keep watching our show, though, switch over to the live stream on YouTube. You can find it at ntTV Sports. Find it right below here. You're already watching the live stream on YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Goodbye, TV. We'll see you next week. We'll see everyone else on the other side of this break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America